I'm Beth, I'm a nutritional therapist and I trained at the NCA. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis after the birth of my second child, so age 32, which obviously came as a huge blow. And I was quite poorly for a number of years. It took a couple of years for me to get onto some medication that really prevented my joints from being very tender and painful. And I carried on like that for a few years, but it got to the point where I started exploring other things that could potentially help with my health, and that's how I discovered functional medicine. Having read a lot around it, I actually went to see a functional medicine practitioner, a doctor, and she recommended that I made some quite dramatic dietary and lifestyle changes, and the impact was just enormous. Really quite quickly I began to feel a lot better. I've still taken my medication for my joints, but other things that I'd really struggled with in terms of energy levels, fatigue, digestive issues, anxiety and low mood, all those really started to improve. And that's what inspired me to go back to uni and learn how to be a nutritional therapist, because it had such a fundamental effect on how I felt. In terms of the NCA, a couple of things really. Firstly, I was really keen to find a course that was based on functional medicine principles, because that's what I was really interested in and had read a lot around. There was an element of proximity for me because it's not too far away. But I was also really impressed by the fact that you can do clinical work in college right from early on in the course, because I knew that I wanted to be a practitioner. So that was a really important element for me as well. And I went to have a look round, everyone was really friendly, so yeah, I signed on the dotted line. It was a challenge. I'm lucky in that I've got a very supportive husband, and he was very much up for me doing the course. So there was a lot of planning involved, because obviously it was weekends. I mean, from my personal perspective, it was actually quite nice to get away on a weekend. Probably shouldn't say that, but to have 2 days that were literally all I had to worry about was me. Aside from that, obviously there's all the work that comes on top of that. Now my children were school age at the time, so I did have some time during the day to be able to study and things. But yes, it's a case of being very organised, I think, making sure you've got your support systems around you. But it's really rewarding, and I know even there were some participants on the course who had part-time jobs as well, so that adds in another element. But I was lucky in that I could flex what I was doing, so it kind of worked out in the end. What I would say is, in the run-up to assignments being handed in, there were quite a lot of late nights and stress that was commented on by the family, but we got there in the end, and it feels like a huge achievement. So what would I say to myself? I'd say enjoy it, make the most of the weekends, particularly when you're there in college with the rest of your cohort. That was something that I hadn't really thought about, but has been a huge boon to me, is having that group of people to share the journey with, and also to then continue to see and speak to and support each other once we've come out the other end. I'd say probably relax a bit if you can, which is hard when you're in it, but have faith that you will get through it, as all the tutors said we would. But when you first start back in that kind of academic environment, having not been in that environment for, as I say, probably 20 years, it is a bit of a shock to the system and the brain, and panic can sometimes set in. But we I think have confidence that college and the tutors are taking you through a journey, and they know that you will come to the end, which we did. So I suppose I've gone from a person who was interested in nutrition in terms of how it could help me personally with my health, to someone who is passionate about nutrition and truly believes that it can have a positive impact on everybody's health. And I see part of my role is to try and share that with as many people as possible.